Howdy, hello everyone, it's Critic and you're the viewer, and welcome to the first episode of Season 4 of the Coast Critic. Season 3 lasted for literally ages, so yeah, it's good to know that I finally can stray away from having to focus every single episode on Florida. Anyway, now we're going to be starting off with a season that focuses mainly on Cedar Point, but sometimes will stray off into something else to give me a little bit of freedom. So, if you didn't know, in August of 2022, I visited Cedar Point for my first time. It was a 2-day trip, and I managed to get on every coaster but the kiddie coasters because I'd rather ride Millie than Woodstock Express. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I didn't do that. But today I will be reviewing Millennium Force and telling people why it is in fact a top 10 coaster and not as overrated as people say it is. One of the first things I want to start off with is why people say Millennium Force is overrated. Let's just say Millennium Force was the world's first 300-foot tall coaster, 310 feet to be exact. It went really fast, really steep. It was just in general, it was a very fast, big, tall ride, so the GP really liked it, and so did the Golden Ticket Awards, thus meaning that they rated the ride best ride in the world 14-ish times in a row, because I don't actually know that number. I'll put up a correct number on the screen right now, or I won't. I probably won't. In fact, don't expect me to. But yeah, this ride was rated #1 in the world a lot, so everyone expected it to be #1 in the world, and then when people wrote it and noticed that it was not #1 in the world, yeah, everyone started calling it very overrated, especially with rides like Fury 325, Steel Vengeance, and basically anything else that was from B&M or RMC that related around Gigas or Hypers came out, and Millennium Force eventually just got buried with all the other coasters that everyone said was pretty overrated and they didn't really care about. But all of those coasters that people said were overrated are starting to come back into the spotlight, or at least sort of coming back into the spotlight again, and people are realizing that yes, even though it definitely is not the #1 in the world, it's still a good ride. And for me at least, it is in fact top 10 worthy. I know that I've only, at the time of making this video, have only ridden 81 coasters, soon to be 82, when I finally get back to Magic Mountain for some weird reason of me never visiting it for freaking 3 months, even though I used to visit it like every other month, but that's beside the point. So yeah, I've only ridden 81, soon to be 82, and hopefully 100 coasters by 2023, but I still do think Millennium Force will remain in at least my top 15 for a good while. And this is because this ride is just so god dang fun. Like, this is a ride like, and I'm gonna say it, Manta SeaWorld San Diego. It's a ride you just want to ride over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until you've ridden 11 times and beat your record for the most ridden rides until you eventually go to a certain Passport to Thrills event about a B&M dive coaster. But yeah, this ride is just a fun ride, and today I'm going to be going over why I think that. So, let's get started. Let's start off with the trains. The trains are one of the main things why I like Millennium Force so much, because trains can make or break a ride. It's the only reason why Riddler's Revenge at Magic Mountain is my least favorite coaster, because those trains freaking suck. But these trains are really good, and it's all because of that restraint. The one, the only, the Intamin T-Bar. Now, before this, I had only ridden one coaster with the Intamin T-Bar, Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm. I had only gotten one ride on Accelerator, but I do remember Accelerator being very fun, mainly because of that launch, which felt like you were being freaking shot out of a gun. Now, I would have ridden 2 coasters at this park with the T-Bar had Top Thrill Dragster not had an accident, but god, these T-bars are amazing. And while yes, they are open, unfortunately I did learn with Velocicoaster that having an open restraint can't make a ride, because if you're stapled, it ruins everything. You can watch my Velocicoaster video to figure out why I said that. But basically, yeah, these restraints are very open, but the main thing I like about them is it's kind of hard to not get airtime on them. With how the seats are arranged, your legs, at least for me, who I am a tall person, by the way, my legs are always angled a bit upwards. I can't really get stapled that well on Millennium Force. So, not only were the Cedar Point Ride Ops not trying to staple me, but I wasn't even getting stapled in the first place, meaning that the Intamin T-bars, they not only give you openness, they're hard to get stapled in, so in general, they are my second favorite restraint behind the one, the only, the B&M clamshell, because I don't think, it's almost impossible to make a restraint better than the B&M clamshell. That thing is a genius invention. Anyway, done with the minor stuff, now on to the major stuff. The first thing that I want to talk about that really made Millennium Force a great ride for me was... Now, with this ride being the first 300-foot tall coaster, it very obviously has to go from 310 feet to about 10 feet. So, yeah, it definitely goes very fast, and that speed is not wasted at all. This ride flies through its layout, and oh my god, once I got a front row ride on Millennium Force, I felt that speed, and oh my god, I did not care that I ate like 25 bugs while on that front row ride. I was feeling like I was flying through space, and yes, I know there is no wind in space, but I don't care, that's what it felt like. If only I had gotten a night ride on Millennium Force, then this would have been an even better category, but still though, the speed, it's just perfect. 93 or whatever it was, 90 something miles an hour, that is just the perfect speed. It's just wonderful and amazing. And Millennium Force is one of those rides where the speed just really did it for me. I do not care that I grayed out on the first drop and, like, literally my vision went completely dark on the first drop on my first ride. The speed completely overshadowed that amazing fact and just made it even better. Yeah, the speed can make a ride for me, and Millennium Force took that to the maximum. So yeah, there's one of the things I really like about Millennium Force, the speed. The next category is the negative and positive G-forces. Both of these are amazing on this ride, and I've said this before, but I'm not that big of a forces guy. Like, I'm not really that big on positive forces, which is why I don't really like rides like Kumba or Shikra or Hulk that much, because they focus far too much on forces and nothing else. But Millennium Force focuses on forces and pairs those forces with, once again, the speed. Because if forces are paired with the insane speed of Millennium Force, you have some great forces. And as I mentioned before, I completely lost my vision on the first part of Millennium Force where you go down the drop and the big overbank. That is so forceful, mixed with the speed, it's just amazing. To the fact where I really do not get why people call Millennium Force Forceless. Because there is no way that thing pulls no forces. That is a forceful ride. And same thing with the negative G-forces. Granted, it is not insane ejector airtime like Steve, but it is still great floater airtime in the front row. On that front row, it feels like you are just flying. And once again, the feeling of flying through space. I know that's a Magnum's thing to make you feel like you're flying through space, but Millennium Force does it 10 times better. And, yeah, I know this is a very odd ending, but that will be the end of this video. Don't ask why this video was so short, because to be honest, I don't know myself. I'm almost certain I had more ideas for what I had to say about Millennium Force, but I just simply want to get the point across that Millennium Force is nowhere near as overrated as people are saying it is, and it is still in my top 10. So, hope you liked the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribing, leave a like. And I was with the Coast Critic, you're the viewer, and I'll see you in the future. And get ready for a Raptor-related video next episode. Goodbye.